What is happening, y'all? Welcome back to episode 2 of the walkthrough. So this time around, we're going to be knocking out the eastern portion of Limgrave, which can be known as the Mistwood, and the southern portion, which can be known as the Weeping Peninsula. So there's a pumpkin head on the bridge. Go ahead and ignore this guy for now. We just want to run past him. And there's going to be 2 more smithing stones we'll pick up right there. We're going to keep on heading this way over towards Summon Water Village. We're going to be hitting this area a little bit later, but there is a boss here that has a key item we need for a quest, in addition to... let's go on and talk to D real fast. This guy is going to go to the hub in a little bit. You can just talk to him. It doesn't really matter if you talk to him, you can still complete his quest. But yeah, he has a key item, and in addition to that, this one in particular has a pretty nice summon for early game. It's going to summon these 2 skeletons that will keep respawning over and over unless something hits them after they're already down, which most bosses and NPCs won't. So they're definitely a really solid summon choice because they last. So while we're going to be ignoring him, we're not going to be ignoring everything that's here. And what we want to do is stay to the right side of the ruins. And you can see over there on the left that gravestone icon. That is the Ashen icon. That's the summon, meaning that we can summon up our dudes. We're not going to summon them up and try to actually fight this guy. We want to go over here. And when you see the turtles, you know you're in the right area. We're going to use our first stone sword key. Now, even if you didn't start with the stone sword keys, we picked one up back at the hut where we met the lady in the last episode, so you should still be good. But you can kill these turtles if you want for turtle flesh. It's used for crafting a couple different things. But the real reason we came here is to pop this chest open and get ourselves a juicy first talisman, the green turtle talisman. This is going to boost your stamina recovery speed for my Souls veterans. You may also know this as the Chloranthy ring. Super useful item, almost regardless of what build you're on. You know, you can never go wrong with stamina regeneration. So from here, we're going to head south, and once we get to the cliff edge, you can ignore this guy. This is going to be a cerulean scabbard. You can always tell based on the color. The red ones, and not just the orb, but the scarab itself. The red ones are going to replenish your flasks. The blue ones will replenish your other flasks. So keep an eye on what color the scarab itself is to know if you're going to get an item out of it. So I'm just going to come right here. I'm going to grab these things real fast. Now, we're not going to be immediately popping all of these runes for levels. In general, what I like to save runes for is when I'm short. So what I mean by this is, as we're playing through content, let's say that we're about to go into a boss battle and we're like 1,000 runes short of getting a level. That's when we're going to use this stuff. We're going to use it. We're going to get enough so that we can grab our level, and then that'll just make things a lot more comfortable. So we're going to grab that, head south, runes for tombs. We're going to go down for a shiny that has Sacred Blade. He should be this way, I believe. Where is Mr. Sacred Blade at? It's near the church. There's the church. I can hear him. There he is. So this is a Spirit Spring jump. These will boost you on up, but they'll also soften your fall when you jump towards them. You can see how I kind of have like a wind aura swirling around my horse. If you see that, you're in the clear. So go on and kill this guy. That's going to give us Sacred Blade, and this is a super useful Ash of War for the early game catacombs, because it's going to give you holy damage, which will allow you to kill the skeletons in one hit. After that, we're going to run into this church. Just to show where we're at on the map, here's the church. There's Summon Water Village. We're going to get our Flask of Wondrous Physic. This thing is super awesome. One of my favorite additions to the game. It's a mix and max potion where you can pick exactly what you want, what effects you want in the potion from things you find out in the world. And then it's single use, but still just like a really cool item, you know? Make your own potion. I love it. Okay, from here, we are going to go northeast. And right here in this water, it's going to be a teleporter. I'll go on and take this, and this is going to yeet us across the map into an area where we probably don't belong, but we're going to go anyway. Now, those of you that played the network test, I'm sure you remember how awesome Beast Claw was. Super cool ability. This is the NPC you get that from. But to get Beast Claw, you need to feed him a bunch of death roots. Death roots drop from the Mariners, and there's a couple other locations throughout the world that have them. But that guy at Summon Water Village that we could have fought, killing him is going to get us the item we need to give to this guy. But there's no reason to interact with him right now. We can't, you could interact with him right now, but don't worry about it. Do not try fighting this gargoyle. He will absolutely beat your ass at this point in the game. He does drop a really nice sword for Faith builds, though. Has a really cool weapon art. I used it a lot in my own playthrough. Grab the seed. And I would not suggest trying to fight these guys right now. They can basically instant kill you. We're just going to keep hauling this way, and we're trying to run to that grace you see right there. In fact, we're not going to be fighting like anything out here. Just going to get this. There is a Ash of War you can get from a shiny ball over there, but at this point in the game, it's going to take you a lot of hits to kill it, so I wouldn't recommend it. So as we rest, she is going to show up. Go ahead and run through her dialogue. She's going to take us to the round table hold.
There is, but I can take gathering plate. Very well, let my hand.
So we're not actually going to do anything in round table hold just yet. We're gonna come back here later, but think of this as your central hub. So you can see an icon on the left. That means you can't attack here, so don't worry about accidentally killing any NPCs. But yeah, we have other stuff we're gonna do, so we're not even worried about that right now. We're gonna jump back out over here to the Faroum Great Bridge. After we have done our loop around and grabbed all the starter stuff, then we'll go to that area. So next, what we're going to do here is we're going to go north and then loop around this rock. And this is going to be an early farming area that we're going to take you to. Now, I've got to give credit to Boomstick Gaming. He's the one who actually found this little spot. Prior to knowing about this, I was killing these little dudes out here that would jump on you, because you get 1,000 runes per kill with them. But this is definitely a safer farm, and one that I think is a lot more beginner friendly. So we're just going to head on over this way. There's little poison things on the ground, so be a little bit careful as you're running through, and you'll avoid those just fine. Now, in general, I am not going to recommend you do a ton of farming. We're going to farm up enough souls to upgrade our weapon, and that's about it. The levels will come pretty easily. If you're really, really struggling in the game, that's when I would suggest farming. But, I mean, you don't, trust me when I say you don't need to farm in this game by any means. You can get through just fine without, you don't need to farm up 30,000 souls and level up a bunch at the start. So this is a puzzle tower. There's a bunch of these throughout the world. This one, usually that statue gives you instructions, but it's broken. But I'm going to show you all how to solve it anyway. So it's pretty easy. We're just going to jump right here and aim for that balcony. Dismount the horse, and we're good. Run on up here. And this isn't really needed on our build, but those mage builds will benefit from this. This is going to get you an early memory stone, and that is going to increase the amount of casting slots you get. So it's really nice to snag one of these early so you can start getting your the amount of cast you have available up. And there's another one of these that will snag within a couple episodes to have you at 4 casting slots, and then one that we could buy from a merchant that'll have you at 5 casting slots. And if you can, if you can use more than 5 spells at this point in the game, honestly, that's impressive. Because I don't think I know of 5 spells at this point in the game that's even useful, but we're going to get it either way. And real fast, I'm just going to run down here. I don't believe there's anything, but we didn't check in the prep notes, so I just want to confirm. Oh, we have that guy. Yeah, I don't know if you can even kill him at this point. Actually, no, don't kill him at this point. We need him alive. We need him alive. I'm pretty sure that's the guy that summons the ball, because I remember trying to remember how to stop the balls, but we want the balls. So I know you're like, balls, what is he talking about? We're going to show you the ball farm, and this is the one that Boomstick discovered that we're going to talk about. So the balls are being summoned by that thing that's in there. If we kill that, the balls will stop. But what we want to do is just run down here, and right about the time we get over to these rocks, You can hear it, and we're going to cut, and we're going to turn to the right. And that ball is going to fall off. Just keep looking in the direction of the ball, and you can see that you're going to get a quick 2,000 souls. So at that point, you can warp back to Lenny's Rise, and you can do this on rinse and repeat. You can do it as many times as you need. Like I said, I don't recommend just being like, you don't need to sit here and farm up a ton of souls to get super powerful in the early game. But if you're short and you need a couple souls to upgrade your weapons, I think it's worth it doing that. Now, it's important that you watch the ball go off the cliff. If you don't see it go off the cliff, it's not going to give you the souls. So let's see. From here, we're going to hop back over to our church. Yeah, you're already seeing just how big this world is. The craziest thing is this is the distance we see is maybe like 15% of the total world. There's so much to this place. So we're going to go back to this church. We will go back to church at East Limgrave, talk to dude, then hit the map fragment. Oh yeah, what's his face? Talk to him. So we are going like this way, and then we're going to go this way. So just ride on out towards that broken structure you see. You can see this one is red, so that's going to restore Estus. I'm not worried about killing that. Well, flasks, Estus, same thing. I'm going to end up calling runes souls and graces bonfires. It's like muscle memory at this point.
Hello? Is anybody there? Someone who might be interested in rescuing the great cat?
So go on and just talk to this guy. He's going to give you a quest to clear out an area down south. We're going to do that, but we just need to, my fort, blah, blah, blah. I'll give you a reward. That's good. I'll take that off. And now we're going to head down here and get a map marker. So when a map is unveiled, you can usually see these icons. You can't see it in underground zones, but any other zone, those icons are what are going to unveil the map. Now this area is known as the Mistwood. It is an early game area, but there are these things that I've decided to call rune bears because I fought one that was a boss and it was called rune bear. I would not mess with the rune bears right now. Just to point this out, this is like a treasure ghost. It's weird. They'll summon. I'm going to show it. I already know where it goes, but it's going to summon this guy who's going to walk a couple steps and disappear, and walk a couple steps and disappear. And if you feel like spending 5-6 minutes following him, he's going to lead you to some treasure. But we are not worried about that. Instead, we are just going to head on over here. We're going to pick this up. You can try and grab that. Do not fight the bear. Nope, don't fight the bear. Gotta get a little bit of distance here before I pull up the map. There's a couple things we're hitting out here while we're over here, but I don't want to be in combat while I'm doing it. Alright, that howling is good. We want to go over there. So that howling is an NPC. We're going to come back later to interact with him, but for now, there are some things we want in the Mistwood Ruins. Now this place has one of those big old bears that I was talking about, so you're going to want to be careful. Do not poke the bear. But we can go here. I would suggest staying crouched. Keep the bear asleep. That. Hit the thing from the chest. Bear's still sleeping, which is good. This is going to get you another talisman. So we'll enhance charged attacks, which is pretty nice. Like I said, charged attacks are really good. Let me see. What do we got here? Bird tree, kill the shiny along the path. Have the 2 flasks in the tree. Southeast, west. Just checking my notes. So next we're going to head on over to the Erd tree where I marked. There should be a shiny. I can hear you. No? Stop running. If for some reason one of these ever gets away, all you need to do is just system here, quit game, and then when you reload in the game, it will be right back there. They're very similar to the things that we're able to spawn. Now, there's a bunch of them near here, but these are not ones that we need to worry about killing at all. And if you want your flasks, you want to beat it down. But we came over here to get access to these two things. Now, while you're over here, you know, let's just get it. I guess it wouldn't hurt to get it now. It'll save us some time later running back here. This is an area I would not recommend you do anything with for the time being. But we can go down and get the very first grace, and then we'll just come back up. So on top of the massive expansion to the map we've already seen, there are also multiple underground regions in this game. Like, in the review I said that like the running theme of the game is there's more. And it's because every time you think you've seen it all, a whole new area shows up. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and it doesn't really stop. This is why I wasn't going to do this in the notes. It's just a long ass elevator, man. So how y'all doing today? Kind of looks like a tired Orlando Bloom a little bit. Going to grab this. We're not doing anything else here. We're just going to get this grace so that we can come back here later. And you can tap R3 to toggle between those states. Next, we're going to go here and here. So we're just gonna warp back up. It's probably faster for me to just run down the road than it is to take that massive elevator back up. One thing that I didn't notice in my first playthrough, but with the horse, you only need to tap circle once to basically put the horse into sprint mode. You don't need to hold it to run like you do with your character. Just tap it, and then your horse is already sprinting. Any additional taps is like a brief dodge to get out of the way of stuff. Though I will say I'm not sure if it gives you iframes. I don't believe it does, but anyway, point being, horse go fast. You can already kind of see why this area is called Mistwood. It's just, you know, can't really see too much. Whole area is misty. This cliff looks a little sketch. There we go.
Welcome. Yes, right.
Every time you find a merchant, talk to them, just see if they have anything you want.
I'm hungry.
This guy has some PvP items. He has cookbooks. This gives you Beastler Pot and Exalted Flesh. Exalted Flesh, that buff stuff, so that's good. Beastler Pot, I'm not really worried about. He has a couple arrows and shields. If you want to invade people, that's how you invade people, is those things. Which, by the way, on the note of invasions, you should know that PvP by default is turned off in Elden Ring. If you are playing by yourself and you're not summoning, no one besides NPCs can ever invade the game. So, you know, if you're one of those people that you dread invasions, don't worry about it. You're going to be just fine. There's going to be some NPC invasions that'll happen. But players won't come into the game to try and attack you unless you have summoned help. Now, all of the strategies we're going to go through on the bosses and whatnot are going to involve either Ashen summons or occasionally NPC summons, so you shouldn't need to summon anybody for help, but that's something to keep in mind. If you decide, hey, I want to play with my buddy, you have suddenly opened the door to other people coming into your game and trying to kill you. If you don't like it, that's too bad. That's part of the game. Just like part of the game is you can summon and play with your friends, part of the game is somebody else gets to come in and try and kill you. So keep that in mind. Which, to talk about that briefly, so this is going to put down your sign for someone else to summon you. This will send it to a bunch of places. There's also PvP versions, but we need a certain item that we don't have yet that'll basically enable it. It's like it's called a fur crawling finger, and after you hit the fur crawling, it'll then enable it so you can see signs at summoning pools and just throughout the world. That is like here. I want to do co-op items, so that enables it. Grab that. Okay, third grace point for runes, and then back to grace, back to gatefront. So let me get out of the way of these wolves. Should be good. I just got to go far enough that I'm out of combat. That sound means I'm still in combat. I guess we could hop up here and hit this real fast, but there we go. These off, and we're gonna go back to, well, let me look at my notes. Head on south. Grab the gray sombering, continue south. Yeah, we'll do this. We'll do this. I don't want to deviate from my notes, because like in my head I'm like, oh well, this route could be good, but if I deviate from my notes, I know I'm gonna end up missing something. It's gonna stay on the notes. Now there's a couple things here that are important in Gatefront. Like I said, we're not worried about we're not doing content yet. Right now, this is all still, this is preparing. We are trying to run through, we're grabbing a couple graces, we're going to a couple places, we're getting a couple key items that will, overall, it'll make your playthrough a lot smoother. So don't worry about like trying to explore zones in depth and collecting everything. I promise we're gonna get to all of that. So, I know people are probably like, there's stuff in Gatefront, you missed it. Like, trust me, I know, we're gonna get there, but you know, think of this like practice before the big game. We're doing a bunch of stuff right now that'll make your experience smoother when the time comes. Kill that. There's one upgrade thing here we'll grab. Grab the somber smithing stone. We're gonna run this way. Ignore the caravan for now. We're not worried about that. In fact, I would stay to the right of it, just so all that stuff doesn't aggro onto you. We're just going to keep heading south for now. Probably the biggest risk at this point are going to be these dudes on horseback, because they will try and chase you down, so just be aware of them. Hit this grace. And we're going to run this way, continuing down towards the Weeping Peninsula. We're going to grab the map down there and grab a couple of important items. Now there is a ballista on approach here. I have never been hit by it. These guys are super inaccurate, but, you know, just wanted to put it out there, just so people are aware of it. As you can see, flew right over my head. We're going to grab that. It's Tim. Grab that stone sword key. This way. And welcome to the Weeping Peninsula. There's an NPC here. I wouldn't talk to her just yet. We're going to get to her later. I'm not exactly sure if her quest has a trigger with the other regions we're going just yet, so I would just wait. In my notes, I waited to talk to her. I would suggest you do the same. Go right here. Grab that. Morningstar is a fantastic early game weapon. In particular, anything that can do bleed damage is going to be super, super good in this game. Bleed is HP percentage based, so it is one of the best things in the game for fighting bosses. And you don't need to go like all in on it, you know? You don't need to be like, well, bleed's good. Cowboy said bleed's good. I'm going arcane build, baby. Like, if you want to, sure, but you don't need to go all in on the bleed. Just having a weapon that has some bleed is going to be enough. Continue south for Luke's Morningstar, Mighty Shot, and we're running to a grace that's ahead. As always, when you find a merchant, talk to him, see if there's anything you want. So cracked pots are always good. We don't need that note. Crimson Amber Medallion if you want it. I don't think it's worth it. Stone Sword Keys, always worth it. But we're going to pick up that. And what else did you have? The Bastard Sword. 1610. It's not bad. Not bad at this point in the game, but we get the Claymore in a little bit, which is the superior version. Now, as always, it's already the evening, so we are going to warp things back because the last thing you want to get do is spanked by a night boss, which there is one right where we're at. So, early morning, and we're going to continue our run south. It's Castle Morn, another spot with a legendary armament. We're not going all the way down there. We just want to get this. And we're going to head on back. Right, so we're just running back onto where we saw that Grace. And now what we want to do... Well, let me just rest at the Grace so I'm out of combat from that archer. So you can see, looking at that, I can see that the Morning Star is going to have more attack power, and on top of that it has bleed, so that's already an auto pickup for me. So we have the map now, and what we're going to do is follow this path, and we want to swing into this village for a key item. We're going to get that, and then we're going to head up north for a Grace, which should be right around here. And then we're going to head out west for a church. And then, let's see, church, and then we're going to head southwest for the lantern, which is down here. So, we have our markings, just to show those again. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, even though I am suggesting you play with a quality build, and I will be playing with a quality build for this series, I am going to go out of my way and show y'all where a starter item is for pretty much every build style. So regardless of what you want to do, if you want to play Faith, or you want to play Dexterity, or Strength, or, you know, like I said, whatever you want to do, rest assured, between this episode and the next episode, you will have some really, really brutal starter items. So, grab the Sacred Tear. Be careful of these rats. Grab that. That's Flame of Frenzy. That's what we wanted. And then we're going to head out to number 2. Now, Flame of Frenzy is a absolutely devastating spell. I cannot stress this enough. Even moving all the way towards the very end of the game, my level 150 Faith build that I just put up on the channel, I still use that spell as one of my main damage dealers. So if you're playing a Faith build, trust me when I say that will carry you. That is your nuke if you want to be a Faith boy. I'm going to take 1 and 2 off just to make things a little bit easier. Now we're going to head on out to that church. Need to work our way down a little bit. That looks safe. Like I said, you're going to have to just get a feel for what exactly is a safe drop with the horse. There's some times where I think it's going to be a safe drop and it's not, but you know, that's one of the few things that I can't really teach you. There's, you know, it's something you just got to learn to gauge on your own, whether or not a drop is going to kill you or not. I always love doing this after, like, thinking about how long it took me to find certain things on the Let's Play, and, you know, the blind experience is infinitely different. It's crazy to think, you know, the start we're getting right now is just leagues ahead. I mean, we're talking like JV ball versus professional baseball. That's the level of difference in the start we're giving ourselves now versus how things went in the Let's Play. And that's why I also tell people, man, people are like, can I follow this as a guide when they're looking at the Let's Play? And I'm like, I mean, I don't think you should. Because it's, you know, it's not curated at all. We're all over the place. Anytime I see ruins, I try to pick up rune fragments. You use those to make your little shiny rainbow stones, and there are a lot of areas that rainbow stones are useful in this game. Not even just like, you know, invisible walkway type stuff, which obviously they're useful for that, but there are a lot of dungeons that are easy to get lost in, and so having the rainbow stones as breadcrumbs to mark where you've been makes things really easy. Now this is a mausoleum. Mausoleums can be used to duplicate a boss remembrance, which is basically the soul of the boss. So if you get a boss remembrance, and let's say the boss has a weapon that you really want, but he also has a spell that you really want, you can go to these and make a second boss remembrance so that you can get both of those items. In a similar fashion, if you don't care about either of the boss's items, but you want free souls, duplicate the boss's soul and then gobble them both up. Okay. This is one of the most important merchants. Let's see how much it's going to cost us. It will be 1,800. Our 5 is worth 1,600, and then I'll take a single one. And the reason we came all this way was to get the lantern, which, oh my god, such a boon. So I like putting that as a pouch item as well. Lantern and horse are two things I'm always going to need. So you can see how much light the torch gives us. Even without the torch, you can see things are still pretty well lit. And I really got to give them credit there. The lantern does not mess around in this game. So from here, we're going to go back to the Church of Ella. Oh, hang on. Actually, there's one I missed while we were down there. Well, we'll get it later. There's another church out here that we can get a sacred tear from, but there's also a bunch of, like, there's like stuff and a boss and a thing, so we'll just save that for later. Regardless, we want to talk to this guy.
Wait, well, you're back.
He's gonna have some dialogue about howling in the Mistwood.
Next time you hear, don't fret, I just have it.
He's gonna give you finger snap, which is what we want.
Bye.
We are going to warp. Let's go Fort Hyatt West. And then we want to head back to the Mistwood Ruins. Same as before, we're going to avoid the bear, but we're going to summon down an NPC, and he's going to help us kill our first mini-boss and get the weapon that I would like to use for this playthrough. Don't wake the bear. There he is up top. We'll switch this to finger snap. Where's it at? Point.
Who goes there? Carly sent you, did he? Maybe to him. The name's Blythe. He fled somewhere nearby. Come tell me if you find him, if I can offer you, Darrowell, and in need of a fit.
So now that we've talked to him, we're going to warp on over to Aguil Lake South. We can use the Aguil Lake South Grace we grabbed earlier. We are going to go into our first ever jail. Now, these are prisons that are around the map. I really like these, because to me, this feels like big potential DLC type energy. Like, you know, just put a tomb on the map that you can go on in and end up fighting stuff. You know, they can do so much with these. It's just like boss arena on demand. But so if you talked to Blythe, you'll get this. Summon him up. And then we're going to fight our first boss. So I know I didn't do the Crimson Crimson Tears, we don't have a lot. You're probably not going to need it. For the most part, he is going to take care of this fight for you. You might need to get like 1 or 2 hits in.
No. This is where it ends for you.
You're just going to wait until he aggroes on the boss. This guy moves very fast, so don't get too aggressive. What I would suggest doing is getting in and doing a couple of jump attacks. You can see Blade is healing himself up, so he'll keep on this dude. If he falls down, get a charged heavy. When you get that, you can get a critical. But don't get greedy here. No matter what, this is largely up to Blade to kill. We're just trying to get an early weapon. There we go. Got the knockdown. That gives us a critical follow-up. And then while he's recovering, we can charge up another heavy. And he's down. And the Bloodhound's Fang is what we wanted. So, from here, we are going to, well, it's going to auto-warp us out. But that is going to be a wrap on our second episode. So at this point, we have a couple starter things. We've unveiled the full map of this area. You're going to want to go back to Stormhill Shack at this point. And she's still here? Yeah, she is still here. Okay. But yeah, so in the next episode, what we're going to do, let's see if I beat the Rex yet. I don't, so we need more strength and more dex, but this is the weapon that I'm going to use for most of this playthrough. Very strong curved greatsword. It has bleed on it already, so it's an excellent choice. But just to give you all an idea, on the next episode, we're going to go up into Liurnia, which is the northern region, and then we're going to go on out into Caelid, which is the eastern region, and we're going to pick up some upgrades for those of you that are playing as a mage, and those of you that are playing as a strength build and dexterity build. So stay tuned for that. I'll have it to you in, I don't know, maybe a day or so, and I'll see you all then.